Comments from the law panel.
Hello, I'm Peter Kane. I'm a research fellow at Christ's College in the University of Cambridge. I was convener of the law panel in the RAE of 2014 and also in the RAE of 2020.
Hello, I'm Ian McNeill. I'm Professor of Commercial Law at the University of Glasgow. I was the Deputy Convener of the RAE Law Panel 2020.
In this video, we'll talk about the performance of the three universities that made submissions to the law panel in the 2020 RAE. The first task of the RAE process was to assemble a panel with expertise across the wide range of legal scholarship. The panel comprised 9 non-local members and 3 local members. Of the non-local members, 4 were affiliated to universities in North America and 5 to universities in the UK. In terms of gender, the panel was composed of 7 males and 5 females.
With 3 units of assessment, the submission to the law panel was relatively small in terms of the overall scale of the RAE. A total of 95 staff, 300 research outputs, 8 impact case studies, and 3 environment statements were submitted to the panel. Within those totals, one institution, the University of Hong Kong, represented just over half of both staff submitted and research outputs. 2/3 of the overall staff submitted were employed at lecturer grade.
The onset of the global pandemic shortly after the first panel meeting in February 2020 meant that the original plans for a concluding meeting in Hong Kong in August 2020 had to be adapted to move online. With panelists located across multiple time zones, the logistics were challenging, but regular meetings nevertheless went ahead in autumn 2020. We would like to record our thanks to panel members for their resilience and adaptability in carrying out their duties in those difficult circumstances, and for their commitment in ensuring that the integrity and rigor of the process was not compromised.
Are the universities performing well in the RAE 2020?
Overall, the panel found that the quality of submissions was high. In line with environment statements and institutional research strategies, there was a substantial focus on international and global issues across outputs and impact case studies. The corollary was that there was relatively less focus on domestic, Hong Kong, and regional issues, although Chinese law was well represented in outputs. While interdisciplinary research was a prominent feature of institutional research strategies and environment statements, the panel found relatively little evidence of that in the submissions.
However, a wide range of different approaches and research methodologies within the discipline was evident in the submissions, with empirical research in particular becoming more prominent. While this was the first time that impact was included in the RAE, there was already evidence of research driving important changes and of impact being embedded in the unit of assessment's research structures and processes. However, a weak point in several instances was the articulation of the link between the underpinning research and the impact.
In overall terms, the quality profile for the law submission improved considerably by comparison with RAE 2014. This was evident in substantial increases in the elements of the overall profile at all of the 2, 3, and 4-star levels.
How can the universities strive for further excellence?
The general impression of the law panel is that the performance of the 3 units of assessment that comprise the sector for the RAE 2020 compared favourably to similar institutions outside Hong Kong. That's the case particularly if account is taken of the relatively small size of 2 of the units of assessment by comparison with leading law schools elsewhere. In that sense, it can be said that by international standards, the sector punches above its weight in terms of its influence and global legal scholarship and impact beyond academia.
With that caveat in mind, we make the following suggestions. First, more substantial focus on interdisciplinary research. That aspect was lacking in the 2020 submissions. Second, with 2/3 of staff submitted to the RAE being at lecturer level, universities may wish to consider the role of senior staff in research, leadership, and production. Third, while global and international issues will undoubtedly remain important for the research agenda, local and regional issues might feature more prominently in the next RAE.
It was our great pleasure to serve on the Hong Kong 2020 RAE panel, and I know that all panel members feel very much the same way. We hope that the exercise has helped to strengthen the research base in Hong Kong and provide law faculties and their staff with helpful suggestions for their development in the coming years.